Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done. Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome back to Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? We're episode 30. I'm Scott Shiflett. Joining me as always is Logan Crossland. Logan, how are you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. I'm happy to be here as always, or at least that's what I'm going to tell you. But I'm ready to get uncensored.
And before we can get uncensored, or as you said, uncensored, we have someone joining us. Coming from Midlothian, Virginia. I don't know his height. I don't know his weight. He might not even be a real person. So I've just talked to him on text message and on these video chats here. The one, the only Tim Capel. Tim, how are you doing, buddy?
I am told that I'm from Upper Midlothian, Virginia, which, much like myself, is not real. Not real at all. But that's okay.
Is that near the Shire?
Excuse me?
I said, is that near the Shire?
The Shire, yeah.
From Lord of the Rings?
Mm-hmm, yep. Worcestershire and Midlothian Shire. Yeah, so I'm not real. I'm not from a real place, but that is fitting because we did not watch a real wrestling pay-per-view either. But somehow we're going to talk about it. I'm glad to be here as your guest.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Tim. I think you foisted yourself on there, or you said we foisted it on you. Either way, that's how I got you to be on the show.
I foisted this show. Yeah, I foisted this show onto you, and then you reverse foisted it because you said I had to then be a guest on here. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, Tim regretted that immediately. But after watching this and comparing it to what we saw last month with Super Brawl with Matt Souza, Uncensored is probably better, sadly, which is like saying an F- is better than an F+, but here we are. Tim, were you watching WCW in 2000? Were you one of those holdouts?
I'll be honest. I had a very fraught relationship with WCW, especially once Russo came in. was not wild about his booking prowess or his grand ideas. His Crash TV wore thin very quickly with me, but it was pretty much curtains for me once the Radicals jumped ship. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. WWF is not already been better for a minute, and now all my favorite guys are there. All right, well, as much as I call myself, the least loyal WWF viewer of all time, after that, I was like, I truly have like no reason to continue even pulling for WCW. And that's when it was truly hopeless, I think, when you can't even hope that they'll turn it around. Like, I wasn't watching, I didn't care. I was fully checked out after like Sold Out. I think there's a little bit of intrigue around, what you guys will get to, some of the things that happen after this, but extremely short-lived. My relationship with WCW from this point on is very on again, off again. It's, the light had gone out, as they say.
Yeah, it just felt like we were lead the land of slaughter now, because I saw this on the network and I was like, oh, and it was like, there's, 5 uncensored. I was like, oh, this is legit the last Uncensored. And that was really sad.
Yeah.
Surprised NXT hasn't, bogarted that name, because they've taken Halloween Havoc, Great American Bash, Starrcade. So I'm shocked none of this hasn't been used.
Well, I don't think this has the best reputation. I feel like it's bigger in our lore of Place to Be Nation and its adjacent channels and stuff like that. But I think Uncensored has the best memory for a lot of people.
Yeah, but you could like just throw out like all these cards or yeah.
No,
like Slamboree or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Spring Stampede's actually a pretty dope fucking name. But
let's
kick off.
Well,
that's what my wife Emily is only into wrestling because of me, my dumbass, and she's like, I was watching like a 97 Nitro, and she's like, their names are so much better for their pay-per-views. And I was like, yeah, they were fucking usually hitting these things out of the park. Like Fall Brawl, Halloween Havoc, and all these. And besides Hog Wild, that sucked. And then
World War III maybe needed some. World War III needed another pass, maybe.
Yeah, that should have been.
That really did.
That should have been a one-timer.
Yeah.
But so had you seen the show before? Like, I think we ended up talking about it today. Actually, y'all watched it on a live watch at like 2 a.m.
Yeah. I was gonna say I've somehow or another I did see both Super Brawl and this show. I think I was at some point. It must have been shortly after WCW's demise. I became a little bit fascinated with the fact that they were like even still a company with the types of presentations and matches that they were putting out there during this weird limbo period between Vince Russo booking runs. I was like, yeah, that's a weird show, that Super Brawl, huh? And I was looking at it. I was like, I was definitely not watching. And I think I just wanted to watch the show for the sake of seeing if it was anything. Like, even though I had no recollection of the storylines or anything, like, are any of these matches any good? And, well, you guys covered it. I think Super Brawl was certainly one for the books. It was, it's the type of show that, I think it was more in fashion for WCW to subtitle their pay-per-views in the year 2001, as few as they did. But had they been doing that in 2000, you would call Super Brawl 2000 Super Brawl, hey, look over there. That's kind of what that show is. Just sort of all smoke and mirrors. Just, hey, let's just fake our way through this. And boy, it's like it's amazing just what they put together there. And this is just kind of a pale shadow of that, I feel like. But I sort of share Matt Souza's endless fascination with Super Brawl. This one a little bit less so, but I still wanted to foist both shows on you guys. And this is the one that I drew. And I've seen it, and my my thoughts are pretty much as they've ever been with this one, as we'll go through.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And Logan, the backbone of the backbone, you've been watching all the way through. How was the lead up from getting out of Super Brawl to Uncensored? Were you able to finish that?
Yeah, I was. And I've actually watched ahead already. I've actually caught up to where we're gonna go next. But
This man's a machine, guys. I don't watch shit.
yeah, well,
And I'm the host.
Watching is kind of a stretch. I kind of just have it on in the background, so it's not. I don't really catch everything. I'll say from what we talked about, I'd say between Sold Out and Super Bowl, I thought the TV was all right. But they get real heavy with the Flair and Luger stuff between Super Brawl and Uncensored, as we kind of see throughout the show that we're going to talk about tonight. But it is really heavy-handed with those two and Hogan a lot too. So it's not bad per se, but it just over features a lot of people, I would say. And not people that particularly probably deserve it at the time.
And that's the thing. Like Hogan and Flair feel so goddamn old.
Yeah.
And then like when you're going against Raw in the year 2000, where it's like Triple H and The Rock dominating the pay-per-view, it's like, well, fuck yeah, that looks fresh. And like Tim said, with the Radicals, you got Chris Jericho over there, and it's like, and Kurt Angle is starting to catch on. Like, it's like, holy shit, man. Like, and this is like rehashing the same shit we've seen since 1994. They even talk about their feud being going back to 94 in the main event, which of course Hogan has the fucking main event, god damn it, which we'll get to that, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, this is around the time that The Rock is hosting SNL for the first time. This is,
yeah.
I mean, people don't think about it, but 2000, a very like mainstream year for WWF. Not so much peak Attitude Era stuff because you don't have Stone Cold for most of the year, but they were still real hot, doing great business. And being very well received by people like us who were, if we were watching it at the time.
Yeah, and I think this is one of their most profitable years for sure. I think that's kind of the until recently, of course, but yeah, I think that was one of their like most profitable years total. So like 99 and 2000. So they're killing it for sure.
And not only was Rock hosting SNL, but you had Foley, Triple H, and Big Show up in the same episode.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the four that were main eventing that Mania. And it's not like now where like wrestling's a little bit more respected. It seems to be with like, you got Cena, Batista, and Rock doing all these movies and shit. So it's like they showed up and it was just like, holy hell. But like, and then with this, like, it's like, oh, we're back to 94 and 95 here. Like if DDP was here, I'd be like, oh, this just feels the same. Like he probably lost all his money again or something. But he's been gone since Sold Out, Logan, which sucks because that was the best feud they had going on was fucking Buff and DDP, and they haven't been on either of these pay-per-views. Great job. But I will say one of the pros in this is we're going to talk about is they seem to be elevating Vampiro. So at least they're trying to do it with one person. I thought it would be Billy Kidman, but he sort of is sidetracked with Booker. And they're sidetracked with the just abomination of Harlem Heat 2000. But we'll get to that. But let's kick it off. We're in Miami, Florida, and Uncensored starts off. We see highlights of Luger beating down Sting, as that's one of the main matches. Flair and Hogan in a strap match. That's another main event match, and actually is the main event match. And Sid versus Jeff, which I would think would be the main event. But we see Team Package, which consists of Flair, Luger, and Liz walking backstage. Then we pander to Hogan and Sid talking backstage about their horrible WrestleMania main event, I'm sure. And then Jeff Jarrett walking with the Harris morons, and they say they have an insurance policy for tonight. A limo shows up, and they're like, who's in it? Like, this is what I fucking hate about wrestling in the Attitude Era. Like, a car would show up, and they would be like, well, who's in the car? Who's in the car? And I know both of them did this, and it was the hot thing, but looking back, it's just like, I don't fucking care.
It was the door on the last episode. Now it's the car here. Just constantly go back to it for no reason.
multiple times. And then we'll get to another thing that they go back to multiple times, which I understand what they were trying to do it, but they're heavy-handed as fuck. We'll get to it. But match 1, we got Logan's favorite and JT Rosario's favorite, the artist, who is the artist formerly known as Prince Ikea, a.k.a. Taff Cappy, and he's somehow still the Cruiserweight champ. So, like, you can tell this is, like, future endeavored list card right here versus Psychosis with Hoovy. Hoovy still hurt, sadly, not on commentary because he was amazing. The match starts, and before they even touch, music hits. And then to show how we're breaking, this is a shoot, brother. They say, this is not on my foreign mat. And out comes Chris Candido.
Oh, boy.
What? Had no idea. I knew he showed up. I thought he showed up in April, Logan. Had no idea he shows up here. He gets on commentary. He's calling himself Hard Knocks Chris Candido, which, all right. So we go back to the match. Psychosis chops and kicks Prince. Sorry, I got a little fucked up and kept calling him Prince and Taff Cappy. That's what it's going to be in my notes. Sorry, guys. Psychosis chops and kicks Prince. Then he goes up top and hits a Hurricane Rana. Psychosis then clotheslines him, the artist over the top rope. The whole time this is happening, the camera's on Chris and he's talking. Artist comes off the rope and kicks Psychosis. Prince then sets Psychosis up in a tree of woe and like knocks him down from it. He goes for a pin and gets 2. And then he super kicks Psychosis and gets 2 as that as well. The artist throws Psychosis out of the ring. Chris alludes to Sonny being his valet. As he's like, everyone has a valet here. I got a valet, but they don't want her to come out. It's just stupid. Because she looked horrible. Not the Sonny we were used to. Not as bad as fucking DUI murderer Sonny, but she looked pretty bad in 2000.
She looked rode hard and put up wet for sure.
Boy.
Yeah, if you want to see what she looks like in 2000, being wrestling vixens with Missy Hyatt. That's all I'll say. Ruined Sonny for me. Yeah, that's where you look for porn. Never mind. It's better. Tim, you want to back me up here?
I know. Listen, I have seen at least one frame from Sunny Side Up, and I think I know to which you refer.
Yes. So anyway, Paisley then slaps Psychosis, and artist then throws him in steel ring steps. The artist hits a running clothesline into the corner. Prince is now pulling Psychosis' hair, but he stops at 4, so he won't get DQ'd. Artist then pins Psychosis, gets 2. Psychosis is then able to get a sunset flip for 2, and then he eats a lariat. Psychosis reverses an Irish whip and throws Prince into the corner. Also, Tim, as I'm going to say this, because me and Logan have noticed this, the suicide dive of now was a fucking reversed Irish whip. That happened. So if like you were doing a drinking game, which Logan, we should do, or reversed Irish whips, we would die.
That's kind of a WCW thing, I feel like. It's just constant whips and off the ropes. Like if they had an accident where the turnbuckles, like one of the turnbuckles broke and they couldn't use the ropes in a match, this roster would be lost. I mean,
yes.
Yeah, that I kind of noticed the same thing. And I don't know if that's true that it's like a WCW trope, but it's kind of something I associate with them.
Yeah, if we were doing a drinking game, which we should do for one, Logan, just to see how drunk we get, we should do that. We'll never release that episode. But Psychosis reverses an Irish whip and throws, 1,000%, and throws Prince into the corner. He puts Artist on the top rope and he hits a super Hurricane Rana from the top, which Tony calls a Frankensteiner. For some reason, let's get to 2 3/4. Psychosis hits a front suplex and goes back up top, but Paisley distracts him. Then Hoovy then runs over and kisses her. Paisley then pushes him, and Madness screaming cat fight like Timu Joey Styles. Psychosis then hits a guillotine leg drop and then breaks up his own pin to go yell at Paisley. Like it was so botched, so dumb. Artist then gets on the middle rope and hits his jumping DDT, and it's over. I have a note that says stupid fucking finish. Artist sucks, as Hoovy said. The biggest jabroni has a nice gimmick, but like this is just a dumb ending. Like, I will admit the catfight line between Hoovy and her was pretty funny from Madden. Like I said, Logan, last episode, Madden, like record is like 163 when he has a hit. But when he has a hit, it's pretty good. The rest of the time, he's reaching. Mm-hmm. But Tim, what did you think of this match?
Well, I will say I was annoyed right away by not only Top Copy's participation in this match, especially for our opener, but his lame dubbed entrance music. And I say that not even really remembering what his actual theme sounded like at this time. It's just such a tell when they dub over something and it's kind of poorly done and it's just bad. So that sort of pissed me off. I did kind of get a kick out of Chris Candido on commentary, I have to say, because he just comes out completely unannounced, picks up the headset. He just runs through a litany of grievances, right down to his own contract, apparently. Again, bitching about everybody's got a valet out here. Where's my valet? She's the best valet in the business. Mike today is like, I didn't sign your contract. I don't know what you're talking about. So
yeah, that was pretty funny. Like today was like you could tell like this announce team was like out of fucks because they're like doing shoot comments the whole time, like making fun of Madden. Yeah. Like they all say they hate disco. I'm like, God damn.
Tony's being super passive aggressive and bitchy the whole show. And knowing kind of how he is in real life, assuming his, let's say, podcast persona is a closer fit to his the real Tony Schiavone than WCW commentator Tony Schiavone. You can kind of see that bleed through a little bit on this, which again just popped me. But the match itself is basically a dog. The artist, man, he has like almost a little bit of a John Leguizamo look going on, but at the same time the weirdest beard pattern I think I've ever seen, where it like stops before it connects to his sideburns, and I'm like, is this a artistic choice? Because it sure is baffling. But beyond that, yeah, that finish is real dumb. I did like Paisley just beating the absolute shit out of Juventud on the outside. That was pretty funny. But it's so dumb though, because the guillotine leg drop is like pretty sick. Psychosis, he really nails it. But then like the artist gets up, so he doesn't even like stay down for the pin, and Psychosis then pins him anyway, but as you said, Schiff breaks up his own pin because Paisley is jawing at him from the outside. Like, who cares? She's not even really trying to interfere. And he's like yelling at her for what feels like a good 5 minutes. And then just kind of stumbles around, looks like a complete dope, and just almost, and he kind of gives the jumping DDT an assist by himself jumping into the move, which was like super exposing when they showed it on replay. It's just like this whole thing was like, oof, not good.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
And I have to say, this really, I mean, this doesn't have to be said, but I'm going to say it anyway. Look, there's no other way to put it, but Unmasked Psychosis is one ugly bitch.
He is an ugly bastard for sure.
Yeah, Juventud, he is not. He's not even Rey Mysterio tier attractive. Like, oof.
Rough looking fella for sure.
Poor Hypnosis.
I did think the finish looked pretty good, but it's mostly because, like you said, Psychosis kind of jumps into it. But
he kind of has to, I think.
Yeah,
right?
But it looked much better than the one last month that he hit on Lash, where he like barely grabs his head. So it looked a lot better than that one for sure. But I also enjoyed Candido on commentary a lot. I said Taff Cappy was wearing a shirt he stole from Men on a Mission because it was like purple and white stripes like they used to wear when they wear the big pajamas when they came to the ring. I love Tenay at one point. Psychosis does like a basic like flying clothesline to the outside. Tenay calls it an incredible high risk move, which is like it couldn't have been more basic of a move. I guess because it was the outside, it was so much more impressive. But that proves how far we've come in like high risk maneuvers and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
The crowd absolutely could not care less in this one. I kid you not. I don't think a single person reacts to anything that happens in this match. It was the most quiet I think I've ever maybe heard a crowd in my life. I did think the Frankensteiner that Psychosis did was a nice little move that he pulled out there. And I did enjoy Paisley kicking Hoovie's ass on the outside. But yeah, Psychosis is a major idiot in this one. Has the match won with the leg drop. And could have honestly gone back to the pin like multiple times after that and gotten still probably won the match. But yeah, he comes out looking like a real idiot. But yeah, I thought the finish looked pretty good, but I don't think it's because Taff Cappy did anything right or anything like that.
What about hypnosis?
He did a good job jumping into the finish.
It was horrible. Just all of it was bad. And then going from bad to worse, we go backstage with Mean Gene. He's with Bam Bam. We were told that Bam Bam versus The Wall is 1-on-1 tonight. Bam Bam says, I don't know what's wrong with The Wall. He's been making him sick to his stomach. Bam Bam says he's trying to teach The Wall to do the right thing. This is where we learn that Bam Bam trained The Wall, which is interesting. Must have been trained how to take drugs since they're both dead. Bam Bam says he taught Wall everything he knows about wrestling, but not everything he knows, but not everything that Bam Bam knows. I will admit that's a really good line. And then Bam Bam says he's going to put an end to The Wall tonight. And you think that would lead to the match, guys, but it doesn't. Because match 2, which is XS, somehow Lenny and Lodi have changed gimmicks again, which for Tim, so I know you haven't listened, which is fine. Since we started this podcast, we're on episode 30. Lenny and Lodi had 3 gimmick changes. They were the pseudo-gay team. No, they were pseudo-gay team when we first saw them.
They were just Lenny and Lodi, the ambiguously
gay duo,
tag team duo. Yes,
and then standards and practices, and
I remember standards and practices. Yep,
and now XS, which I had no memory of. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
None.
And they're dressed like ravers. I forgot that Lenny looked just like fucking Chris Jericho. I thought it was Chris Jericho at one point. Like, I was like, God damn, spitting image.
I have a bit of a shit take comparison. I thought that they're called Lane and Rave, this team of XS now, right? And
yes.
I kind of felt like they were, okay, imagine Timu Chris Jericho, as you said, and Billy Gunn with a leather daddy fetish teaming up as a WCW mid-card tag team. That's sort of what I was getting from this.
Yeah, I mean, not wrong. Yeah, but like, I was just like, what the fuck is this XS? And then they're gonna face Norman and the Demon. But before any of this can happen, Miss Hancock comes out. Of course, Stacy Keibler looking fucking drop dead gorgeous. I will say that's one thing WCW had over WWF at the time. Their girls knocked it out of the park compared to WWF with just Stacy and Tori.
Listen, as an unbiased third party, I will back that statement. I don't have a horse in that race. But Stacy Keibler, Miss Hancock, is knockout gorgeous here.
Yeah, she came out. I was like, God damn. And then another one that Mark knocks out of the park, he asks if she's going to sit on his lap, and she just fucking looks at him like, what the hell did you just say?
Yeah.
How dare you, Matt Souza? I mean, Mark Madden.
Shit.
I just killed you. It's not like I haven't made that joke before either.
It breaks me every time.
Oh, man.
The first time he said it was on the Sold Out podcast, Tim, and I laughed, I think, for 3 minutes. I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
Boy.
But it's such a burial. Say it, Tim.
Do you think Matt Souza is listening to that show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he called Logan a motherfucker.
And he will once again once he listens to this one.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look dissimilar. Also, I won't say they're twins, but you know.
All right.
It pops me to no end. Sorry.
What I'm hearing is you think they're twins.
All right. So
I'll plead
Lodi,
the fifth.
So Lodi gets on the mic and says, "We are telling you one last time, talking to Stacey
Rave.
Keibler."
His name
Sorry.
is
Rave. Yeah.
How dare you?
My note starts with Lodi and ends with Rave. Rave gets on the mic and says, "We are telling you one last time, we don't want you as a manager." And then he calls her a Rizat, which fucking popped me. Miss Hancock says she has found a new team, which we'll find out during the match. The Demon comes down the ramp, and Norman comes out of the casket, and he's dressed like the Demon, which I actually thought was pretty cool. XS attacks both. Demon and Rave start off. Demon hits a double underhook suplex and gets 2. Lane broke it up. Rave and Demon fight around the ring. Norman does the big wiggle to Lane. Rave breaks that up. Demon tags in, and then Team XS starts beating down. Miss Hancock says her new team is Los Fabuloso, which is El Dandy and Silver King. Random, but you know what?
Jam up guy, El Dandy.
Yeah. Who are you to doubt him?
Imagine it was him in Hypnosis.
And Team XS keeps beating down, keeps double teaming Demon. Rave pins Demon, gets 2. He tags to Lane, and they hit a double clothesline. And then somehow everyone's just down after that. Like, the double clothesline took down Lane and Rave, which, okay. We get a tag to Norman, and he takes out Team XS. Norman goes for the big wiggle, but XS breaks it up. Lane hits the stroke for 2, and all 4 are still in the ring. Lane and Demon go for the top rope, and then Norman out of nowhere gets the Norman Conquest, which is a submission move on Rave, and it's all over. We got the winners, the Screaming Demons. And then after the match, Team XS yells at Miss Hancock and take her away. They blame her for the loss. The Screaming Demons attack Team XS. And then Miss Hancock gives the big wiggle to Norman, and then they all dance. I thought she was going to give a lap dance to Billy Silverman, but sadly could not. And they were just clowning on Billy Silverman as he was trying to dance. Logan, I didn't hate this match. And that probably like the second or third best match we get on the show, which isn't saying much. But coming out of this podcast, I really like Norman Smiley. So he's one of the few that we like, him and the Mama Lukes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my second note is literally not all that bad of a match, but God, I don't care about any of these fools. My first note is this is the biggest evidence of the absolute lack of depth on the roster, that like this is a pay-per-view match, the Demon and Norman versus fucking XS, like XS getting a pay-per-view payday is probably a little extreme and a little ridiculous, but I thought it was good to see Smiley win for once when it wasn't like a complete fluke. So he actually wins the match pretty convincingly. So that was good to see. And Demon doing the wiggle after the match was the most disturbing thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So it was definitely not a sight for sore eyes. But yeah, this shows the lack of depth on the roster. But the match wasn't all that bad, I would say, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like in a WCW that still had Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, DDP not on the shelf or whatever's wrong with them. Like, where's Rey Mysterio? Where's Scott Steiner? Where's Kevin Nash? Where Scott Hall is now either fired or injured. Like, they are so lacking, as you said, in depth and in, main event and even mid-card players, that something like this that would never rightfully make the show if they had, anyone else to put out there is what we get. But that said, I didn't hate it either. I mean, wisely, this does not overstay its welcome. It's really short. Mm-hmm. And like Schiff, I really do enjoy me some Norman Smiley. He's just one of those quintessential WCW characters who's always good for a laugh, and like he's a great sport and a really solid hand in the ring. So he appropriately takes most of this match. I would say that his offense is primarily hip thrust based. If we're going to call it back to an old podcast I used to do and canceled, as I have many in my wake. So yeah, he gets the win there with his finish, which I feel like is rare. That chicken wing submission, the Norman Conquest, which is such a great name for a finisher too.
It really is.
I mean, it's dumb fun here. It's pretty inoffensive. You get to look at Stacy Keibler in the year 2000. You get to listen to Mark Madden and Mike Today shoot their shot at 2000 Stacy Keibler, which is so dumb. And then she does the big wiggle on Norman. So that's not nothing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% right. Like, and if the show peaks now, it'd be great. But we're about to get into some shit, guys.
We're ended at that.
Yeah. It's so we see Billy and just Booker are tag team partners, but having beef as we find out. Tori just looks amazing. I even messaged Logan that Tori looked amazing after seeing her here.
I mean,
and then it's just not fair. She still looks amazing to this day. As I follow her on Instagram. So we see David and Crowbar with neck braces on backstage. They make Daphne promise that she will be backstage because the wall. And then we see highlights of the wall's destruction, which has been pretty dope with him just choke slamming these motherfuckers. It's been awesome. Through tables, just destroying them. I just love like when we have like a guy whoop ass and look like a badass doing it. It's kind of what I wish they would do with Omos, but we haven't seen him since like 2017. So, but this brings us to
you mean Shaquille?
Oh, all right. They changed his name.
Yes. So this is match 3, which is Bam Bam versus the Wall.
Hey, can I ask a question real quick? I'm sorry.
No worries.
So backstage where we saw Booker with Kidman, and Booker was kind of he seemed like kind of upset with Kidman for not having his back, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe Logan, you can answer this for me. So this is like a makeshift team, I gather. What incentive does Billy Kidman have exactly to even back Booker up in this? Like, why does Kidman even give a shit about any of this?
He really doesn't, honestly. I think he's just buddies with Booker and he wants to help him out. But other than that, nothing really. Like, no reason really. I think he just kind of got intertwined with it, and I think maybe they attacked him one week, so he kind of
did. They fuck him up on the TV leading up to this or something? Yeah,
I think they may have attacked him on an episode, and they just kind of wanted revenge. Or he wants revenge on them, but also wants to help Booker because he's his buddy. But they've also had miscommunication and kind of segments involving Harlem Heat 2000 where they've kind of gotten beaten down. So miscommunication. And I think honestly that they like attacked Kidman at some point, and he just kind of wants revenge as well.
Fair enough. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. Motherfuckers. So Bam Bam's out first, Wall's out next. Bam Bam actually jumps Wall when he slides in the ring, and Wall fights back with punches. Wall actually kills Bam Bam with the lariat. Then he clotheslines him into the corner. He goes again, but Bam Bam actually responds and clotheslines Wall. Bam Bam slams him, and then Bam Bam went up top and his headbutt. This gets 2. Bam Bam went for a slam, but Wall shimmied out and hit a big boot to him. Then Wall hits a high knee that gets 2, which I was kind of awesome. That was kind of awesome how he hit the high knee. I didn't expect that from the big guy. Bam Bam hits a DDT and gets 2. Wall with an eye rake when he clotheslines Bam Bam over the top rope. They battle in the aisleway. Then they fight toward the stage. Wall chokeslams Bam Bam through a table. Bam Bam didn't even try to fucking jump for it, so Wall just had to foist him up 6 inches off the ground. The bell rings. I don't know who wins, but then Crowbar and David Flair attack with the Wall. Wall beats them both up. The EMTs, while this is happening, puts Bam Bam on a stretcher. David Flair is knocked out immediately. Crowbar and the Wall are fighting at the entrance ramp. And then for some reason, we see the EMTs putting Bam Bam on a stretcher. But here's the reason why. We hear Daphne screaming, and Crowbar and Wall are on top of the arena. and then the Wall chokeslams Crowbar off the arena, and Crowbar goes through the stage. Wall just smiles. My note here is WCW has something with the Wall. We see Tony is concerned about Crowbar. EMTs are taking Crowbar away as well. And they actually put him in an ambulance. And then we see wrestlers looking concerned about Crowbar. So we're going to hear about this Owen Hart type bump the whole night. Spoiler alert, it's nothing like Owen Hart, but like I don't know why they're acting like this. So like not even a year after Owen had passed, and like they're doing something like this and then acting like he's dead, and it's just like Jesus Christ. But I love seeing the Wall kill people, guys. And then we're gonna have to hear about Crowbar's injuries the whole goddamn night, and it's nothing. But Tim, this was a fun match. It lasted all of like 5 minutes, but I liked Wall just destroying people.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you when you say WCW maybe had something there with the Wall. Similar to a guy like Vampiro, who might be flirting with a bit of a push during this strange time period. The Wall is right there with him. And just one of those big jacked up dudes who is crazy and violent and a hoss. And yeah, it's kind of pro wrestling 101, but you love to see it when it's done right. I made a note that the Wall's size is, in comparison to Bam Bam Bigelow, really impressive, because Bam Bam is no small man at all. I mean, he's not probably as big as he was like, maybe in the 90s. Think back to like that WrestleMania he main evented with LT. He's not really that size. I think Bigelow's shed some pounds since then, but you still think of Bam Bam Bigelow as a jacked up dude, and he looks kind of dwarfed in comparison to the Wall, which was shocking to me. Not much of a match. I was a little confused by the finish. I'm not sure whether, like, did it just get thrown out? Apparently we're not uncensored, since it either ends in a DQ or a count out. I don't know, maybe no contest. It's never said one way or another.
No, the bell just rings.
The bell just rings, which WCW, everyone. But yeah, then we get to the shenanigans with David Flair and Crowbar. I mean, it is a pretty impressive visual, that bump that Crowbar takes from the top of the scaffolding through the stage. But yeah, they do that weird thing where they're trying to sell the gravity of this moment. It does get a little Owen Hart-esque, which was an inappropriate way to play it, because it's like they want to get it over, and I understand that, but at the same time, they can't grind the show to a halt. So it's just sort of this, they keep mentioning it, but keep the show going. So it's just more annoying than it is anything. They should have just let it happen and, I don't know, moved on from there, said, well, this is terrible, but we'll update you on the condition of Crowbar as it comes in, right? Like, we don't need to keep harping on this. Especially considering the fact they will do something later in the year, which is far more reminiscent of the Owen Hart accident, I think.
In the same arena. And
yeah, I was going to say way more tasteless at the same time, given where it takes place. And that's, I don't know how deliberate this was supposed to be as a callback, but what they do later on certainly was very, very calculated.
So dumb.
Yeah. It's but anyway, this is sort of a lesser version of that, which I hadn't really thought of until about maybe the fourth or fifth time that they brought it up later in the show on commentary. And I think Mark Madden even says at one point, he's like, well, I feel like a jackass out here making all these, silly comments when you had a man who was thrown from, 30, 45 feet in the air, which was nothing like that. But it's just like, you're trying to have it both ways, right? Are we trying to have a pay-per-view, or are we trying to like have a very special moment here? It's just, it doesn't work the way that they can't really commit to what this is supposed to be. But it's, gets over the Wall's mean streak and his violence, and I didn't really follow all of what Bam Bam was putting down earlier, where he's like, I brought this guy in and I don't approve of the way I'm like, didn't he come in as like the bodyguard to Berlin or whatever? Like,
He sure did.
Is he?
Yeah, he did.
He's never been associated with Bam Bam Bigelow in story prior to this in any way, right? Like, I don't.
No,
think
he hasn't.
Okay, so I guess we're just making shit up now, which that's fine. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah, that's about the size of it here for me.
Yeah, they're just making up story just to kind of give it a little bit more something, a little bit more oomph to make it a match. But yeah, pretty stupid that they just kind of thrust that upon it. They could have just had these two guys go out there and throw bombs at each other, which is what they did while they were in the ring. They absolutely just beat the crap out of each other while they were in the ring. According to Wikipedia, Bam Bam wins the match by disqualification. So I guess the Wall just didn't listen to the referee enough. Where he got disqualified. So Bam Bam actually wins the match.
Okay.
Bam Bam's fat ass doesn't quite get up high enough on the choke slam, so it doesn't really look all that devastating. They make the computers explode, which I thought was a nice touch, but
that's fun. Yeah,
that was a little funny moment. But yeah, the crowbar spot was insane, but awesome at the same time. The Wall looks absolutely badass. Definitely should have been something and someone they should have continued to push. After this moment, but I have a feeling once we do the reboot, he's going to probably be pushed to the background, and that's going to be an unfortunate thing because I think he really had. I mean, I'm not going to say he was going to be like an all-timer or like a all-time great or anything like that, but I definitely think he had a spot and could have been somebody that they could have looked to in the future for sure.
I failed to mention after this scene of unbridled chaos and violence, Tony Schiavone dramatically declared, "Uncensored right now has officially come to a stop." And that lasted all of about 30 seconds. I think they cut to Mean Gene backstage. It was like, "Well, I'm here with such and such," and then just kept this show going. Like, again, to my point, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah, it's just like it's just so frustrating because it's just like, what the fuck is going on type shit. But like Tony is, we'll have our 5-second moment of silence and then we'll move on, like we do to Mean Gene with like Mean Gene with Brian Knobbs. Mean Gene asked about the Wall, and Knobbs says he's dedicating this match to Crowbar and Bam Bam. Like, okay, 3 count comes out.
Nothing.
We find out they are hardcore.
Okay.
I know,
Right.
like
he seems like he's gonna
he
be
felt
fine
like a foot because he got like an inch off the ground.
Did he get electrocuted by the exploding
I
computer?
guess so. Oh
he
God!
cuts the live wire or something. But,
I'm sorry, Jeff. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's fine because you're 100% right. People are like, Bam Bam, like they do a medical update later and like, Bam Bam's fucked up too, and it's like, I don't know. He fell 3 inches. Like,
he basically slipped on a banana peel and went through a table.
I took
That's
a
how
worse
far the
bump
ground-
in my bathroom the weekend.
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, so it's like, okay. But then 3 count comes out, who we're sort of fans of. They are hardcore champs. They all pinned Brian Knobbs on leap year, as that's when 3 people can pin someone and win a title. It's just on leap year, apparently. Evan gets on the mic and is about to dance when Brian Knobbs comes out. We are told that Knobbs has to run a gauntlet and pin each member a 3 count. And we see he comes out with a bunch of plunder. He has a fire extinguisher. He throws all the trash cans in the ring. Helms actually jumps off the top rope with a broom and breaks it over his back, which is a pretty cool visual. All 3 members of 3 count beat him down with weapons. It's just mindless weapon shots. Knobbs takes all to Pity City at one point, which I'm sure is disgusting as his asshole, or his Knobbs hole. Then 3 counts back in control, and they throw Knobbs into a ladder. And like the ladders that WCW gets, guys, is like that painters use. So these like fucking painting ladders, flimsy as hell, like great value, like it just looks horrible. So The other two members have to hold the ladder as Helms dives off the ladder. Then they do it for Courageous, who does the same move. And then Moore does a swanton to Knobs that hits, but then like wasn't supposed to hit. So everyone's like, oh, he missed that move. I was like, no, it looks like he hit that shit pretty fucking flush. But Knobs gets a fire extinguisher and sprays them as they were about to dance because they're morons and then just try to pin him. Knobs pins Helms and Helms is out. Knobs pulls out a table and sets it up, but then goes back and wrestles in the ring. Knobs power bombs Evan Courageous from inside the ring to the table on the outside and pins him, which looked pretty gnarly. Knobs pulls out another table. He then threw the ladder on Moore and then sets up the table. Knobs then picks up Moore, but Helms drop kicks Moore's back to Knobs, and they don't break the table. They literally just slide through it, which is like one of those things where you're like, maybe this is the fucking Matrix because they just slide off of it. It's bad. But Moore pins Knobs and gets 3. But Knobs' foot was on the rope, so they're saying it doesn't count. But despite a minute and a half earlier, Knobs pinning Courageous on the outside. My note here just says, Jesus fucking Christ. 3 count starts dancing, then Knobs beats him down again. He throws a ladder on Courageous that looked like it legit hit him because he threw that thing like a fucking missile. Knob takes out Moore and grabs it. Yeah, like it's like, goddamn, did he owe you money or something? Knob takes out Moore, grabs a trash can and jumps off the middle rope and just crushes Moore. Knobs wins, and we buried 3 of our younger talent here. So pretty amazing. This was just a garbage match. Buried him. Poor Shane Helms was wrestling with a broken nose here, and Knobs like hits him flush in the face with a fucking trash can at one point. It's like he's looking like fucking Rip Hamilton, but you're just being a dick. Anyway, I've seen Knobs' asshole many a time, not by choice, but there we are. Tim, what'd you think of this match?
Well, I will say for starters, 3 count came out to their, I think, underrated second single. You can't really hear it that well. I think they probably, it's the type of thing they would have dubbed over, but I don't know. Maybe it's like mixed so low that I don't know if they just cranked the volume down or what, but you can hear it kind of playing them out during their entrance. A little more of a slow jam than their first, I think, more well-known hit when they debuted. But anyway, the boys are looking good here. As the 3-way hardcore champion, I guess you could call it. I want to say there was maybe was there some talk at the time that or maybe this was just internet speculation, that they might parlay this into, okay, now we're not doing a hardcore championship. We're going to do a 3-man tag team championship now because they are the 3 holders of 1 belt. I don't know. I feel like that was maybe a rumor, or I'm completely making it up, but obviously it doesn't happen here since Knobs wins the belt right back from them.
Yeah.
To the extent that this match is anything to watch, it's really made by the Plunda in the ring. Knobs at one point striking poor Shane Helms right across the bridge of the nose, which I gather is already broken with like a broom handle, was pretty nasty.
Yeah, fucking dick.
As was that power bomb on Evan Courageous, inside out, through the table. Shannon, the last 3 counter standing here. But I did enjoy how the other members of 3 count continued to participate and interfere in the match, even though they were pinned, because we're uncensored. Well, uncensored except when it comes to trying to pin a man while his feet are on the ropes, I guess. But kind of a clusterfuck here. It's a mess. But once again, continuing the theme, it gets out of there pretty quick. It doesn't overstay its welcome. So I can't be too mad with it. How about you, Logan?
Yeah, I mean, it's a slop-ass hardcore match, kind of all the ones we've seen with Knobs so far. I said nothing like eliminating the best wrestler of the three first, so Shane Helms goes out first. I think him and Shannon are probably
Right.
about of equal talent, but I'd give Helms probably the leg up just a little bit on them. But I said at least again, slop ass courageous was the second one eliminated, so they at least didn't finish with him. But yeah, I also made the note. Knobs did not care about Evan's well-being because he just absolutely hurls the ladder at him without thinking about how he was going to throw it or where exactly he was trying to throw it. He just fucking hurls it at him and tries to kill him, basically. But yeah, I mean, not anything all that impressive. You know, I like 3 Count as an act. I think they're pretty funny with the dancing and the terrible songs and all that. But I think, you know, they get another trio, kind of like Tim was implying, that they can kind of bounce off of and have good matches with pretty soon. So maybe we'll see some of those happen. But yeah, maybe a trios division might not have been the worst idea at this point, considering they were a pretty overact, I feel like.
Yeah, we enjoyed them so much, Logan. Probably because, you know, there's not that much greatness going on with WCW. But let me get Mean Gene with Big T, Stevie Ray, and Cash, who we saw debut at Super Brawl. Yes, I messed that up. Steve Ray, former AWA Steve Ray.
Yeah,
Stevie Ray says it's about time we get these pit squeaks in the ring. Stevie Ray says, "Don't trust this chump," talking about Booker. And then Big T says some Ahmed Johnson gibberish. I couldn't really make it out.
He really does.
Like he said, that's what he said.
Pretty much.
Oh,
and then
maybe snort.
We go back to the limo, and then we see Vampiro talking to a ladder. I said he's talking more nonsense than Big T. He talks about fighting Fit Finley, which I'm like, all right. And this leads us to match 5, which is Booker and Kidman versus Harlem Heat 2000. Booker is out first, and Kidman.
I'm sorry. I hate the way they do these vignettes where they just they show these guys backstage and then they just run a completely different match. Like, it's like, why don't you just fucking show this before the match that they're actually meant to be hyping up here? But Vampiro just looks like the world's edgiest 8th grader back here, talking about all the bad things he wants to do, but he can't do, but he's going to be forced to do because Fit Finley is such a prick. And it's like, all right, dude, believe me, you win the Edgelord of the Century award. Don't worry.
Yeah, just like Jesus. So Kidman's out next with Tori, and they're telling a story of Booker and Kidman not getting along. You know what we do. And then Madden last month said he grew up with Booker and Stevie Ray, and he grew up in the ghetto, which I don't know, for some reason it makes me laugh. Like when they showed a video, he said, "Oh, you missed my house back there." When they showed the video of Stevie Ray walking through the hood when they were showing it again. But Madden says that his friends in the ghetto trust each other. Just made me laugh. Harlem Heat 2000 comes out. Big and Cash is with them. Jay Biggs is on commentary. Madden says they all grew up together, and Jay Biggs agrees with him. It's like, in the
Portuguese section of the neighborhood.
Yeah. It was so good. So much better than this match, which this match has an all-time botch that I guess because no one was watching WCW is not talked about, but we're going to talk about it. It's an all-timer. I had to stop.
Great.
I had to stop. I was laughing so hard when this happens. So we're going to get to it, guys. So Booker, and I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about, Tim. So I hear you laughing already. So Booker and Stevie Ray start off. Stevie Ray punches Booker and then starts kicking him. Booker gets a side kick and sends him to the ropes and hits Stevie with an elbow. We get a tag to Billy, and Billy hits a drop kick on Stevie Ray. He goes for a crossbody, but Stevie Ray caught him and slams him. We get a tag to Big T, and Kidman hits a drop kick on him. We get a tag to Booker, and he punches Big T. Booker dodges a clothesline and hits a Harlem sidekick. Booker hits an axe kick to Cash, who got up on the apron. We get a tag to Billy, and he dove off the top rope, but Stevie Ray takes him out. We get tagged to Big T. They both hit double kicks on Kidman, and then he tags right back out to Stevie Ray, then hits a double punches to the gut. Stevie Ray pins Kidman, but Tori distracts the ref. This allows Cash to then beat up Kidman. And then this is the all-time botch, guys. So Kidman's outside the ring. Cash is holding him up. For some reason, Big T goes out into the crowd outside the guardrail, and he takes off running and tries to jump over the guardrail to hit Kidman and just like grazes him. Like his feet, I'm pretty sure, get hit on the guardrail.
Yeah,
he clips his foot on the guardrail, and you immediately, like, some kids start laughing in The Simpsons, like, ha ha. So like that happens. You hear the kid do that.
He does.
And it is so goddamn funny because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, maybe he could have done this in like 95, 96, but no way in fuck he could do this being 330 fucking pounds in 2000. Like,
more like 430 fucking pounds.
Yeah. So it like, please, like, go find this. Like, I might ask Susan to make me a GIF of this of just how crazy it is on this fucking VHS he has of the show that I discovered today, that he has a fucking VHS of the show. Probably the only person that has a copy of this. So they throw Kidman back in the ring after this. Stevie Ray knocks Kidman back out of the ring. And then they throw him back in again, and he's double teamed by Big T and Stevie Ray. Big T hits a spine buster on Kidman. Big T goes to pin Kidman, but Booker broke it up. Stevie Ray tries to charge Kidman in the corner, but he moved and hits a tornado DDT. Kidman makes a hot tag to Booker, keep this in mind, and he hits the bookend on Big T and Stevie Ray. Booker then gets hit with a double sidewalk slam. Big T pins Booker, but Kidman makes a save. Kidman's thrown out of the ring. Big T kicks Booker. Kidman takes out Stevie Ray and Cash. I don't know how, so we don't see either. But then Kidman goes up top and hits a sunset flip from the top rope, and Booker then kicks Big T down, and we get the good guys winning despite Kidman not being the legal man. Tim, what did you think? Logan, what did you think of that match?
Yeah, I my first note is Big T once again looks near death. He looks about 500 pounds. He is busting out of his singlet as he was last month at Super Bowl. I obviously made the note about the terrible, awful dive where he made barely touch like Kidman with his hands or whatever. But, this is a continuing trend with Booker T and honestly Kidman as well. Mostly Booker T though, but because this is like the third month in a row Booker has been in there with some absolute just terrible wrestlers. He was in there with Stevie one month, then he was just in there with Big T alone last month. But he does his absolute best with these guys to make this match even cromulent. But both of them just suck so bad. Kidman deserves some credit as well, but I've been really impressed with how much Booker has made Stevie and Big T over the last couple of months. Just made them not look awful. I mean, they still look bad, but it could be much worse if there wasn't somebody talented like Booker in there kind of making them look a little better. I did like the combination at the end, though, where Booker does the Harlem sidekick to Big T, and Kidman is just kind of there to catch him and roll him up. So I did like that little bit of a tag team kind of finisher that they did. So, Tim, what did you think of 800-pound Big T here?
Oh, boy. All told, which I realize is doing a lot of heavy lifting as a qualifier. I thought this was okay. I fully agree with you that Booker and Kidman are really like doing their level best to hold this thing together. But I like that Booker got a lot of his shit in. I like the finish. I think it was pretty cool that there's this dissension between Booker and Kidman, but they pulled out, and even with the assist, Kidman gets the pin there with the sunset flip. Just felt fitting, I guess. Booker's been in this feud for God only knows how long, since pretty much the start of the year, I feel like. So it's way overstayed its welcome. And I mean, yes, that is an all-time botch by Big T on the outside. It is hysterical. And consider this is the match where he did not forget, as Stevie Ray put it, everything. Unlike Super Brawl.
Well, he had a partner in this one, so at least I feel like maybe he could have been like, what was the next spot?
Right.
Maybe that's why he kept tagging in and out so quickly. But
could be, yeah. So even if the motherfucker did forget everything in this match, he had Stevie Ray to kind of walk him through it, which I think Stevie can manage that much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like when Stevie Ray and Big T stay in their lane, like they're serviceable.
Yeah.
But anytime they try to step outside of it, like that fucking dive, it is just atrocious. So
I just want to know what made him think he could even possibly think he could do that.
Yeah.
Not do it, but think he could do it.
It's like all of a sudden he started feeling himself. It's like, because the match hadn't been a complete disaster up to that point, it was kind of going okay. He got a little overconfident, I think, and just went off script, I guess. But man, I did enjoy Jay Biggs on commentary as well. This is our third guest commentator, I guess, of the evening. But whatever.
They're going to continue. They're going to continue.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was a big gimmick around this time, I feel like.
Hard for me to keep up. He, at one point, speaking for all of us, I don't care what happened to Crowbar. All right, cool. Let's stop talking about it then. I mean, he does have a point. It's a case of fuck around and find out. So anyway, it works for
and
what
speaking
it
of Crowbar,
yeah. Go ahead.
And then speaking of Crowbar, we go back to seeing Wall killing Crowbar again, because this isn't Nitro where motherfuckers tune in and out. They paid $30 willingly to watch this shit. So we see that once again. And then it leads us to match 6, which is Fit Finlay versus Vampiro in a Falls Count Anywhere match. We see highlights of the feud of like Fit attacking Vampiro. And Tony says it's going to be Fit versus the Freak. That's what they're calling Vampiro. All right. And then we get our update, guys. Mike says that Crowbar and Bam Bam have concussions, which, they'd be back tomorrow in 2000 WCW and WWF.
Right.
Bam Bam has a dislocated shoulder, I guess he slept wrong. But Crowbar has cracked ribs and a bruised hip. So, and we're going to hear more about it despite getting this fucking update. I was like, all right. So Fit's out first. Vampiro's out next. The match starts and Finlay gets a knee to the gut and then elbows Vampiro in a clothesline. Finlay kicks Vampiro and then drops an elbow on him. Finlay grabs Vamp by the nose and just pulls back on it, which looked like that probably hurt the most out of anything in this fucking match when he grabs him by his nostrils and just starts pulling. Finlay then hits an elbow drop. He went for a back body drop, but Vampiro kicked him and then hit a top rope spin kick for 2, which actually looked pretty dope, even though he didn't hit it all. But Vampiro picks Finlay up by his legs and drops him like an Alabama slam. Vamplin chops Finlay and headbutts him. He starts beating him down real bad. He got him in the corner, and then he charged the corner, but he eats a boot. Finlay hits a forward roll slam and then goes outside and grabs a chair. Finlay tried to Pillmanize Vamp's neck, but the ref picks up the chair. What a pussy. Vamp kicked the chair into Finlay's face. Then he throws Finlay out of the ring, and this is when match fucking goes sideways because WCW security is shit. So they throw Finlay out of the ring and slams him on the announce table. Finlay then drops Vamp throat first on the guardrail. Vamp reverses an Irish whip, Drake, and he sends Finlay to the guardrail. Vamp charged Finlay, and Finlay drops Vamp over the guardrail. They start battling in the crowd. They fight up the steps. Someone has a sign that says, "Someone please kill Fit Finlay." Who the fuck is making us?
Why does anyone care enough about Finlay to make that sign? My God,
I know. I was like, yeah, I was like, God damn. So they make it to the concourse.
You wonder if it's a plant, but it's like that's a little extreme for them to plant in the crowd like that.
if it was like my favorite wrestlers Fit Finley, I'm like a plant. But if you're like, you need someone kill Fit Finley, I'm like, okay, that's fucking personal. Okay, like
or if it was just like Fit Finley sucks or something,
or like SUX or something, because of the year 2000. But this is like someone please kill Fit Finley. I like how they're nice about murder. It's like doesn't say someone kill Fit Finley. It's like someone please kill Fit Finley.
Please. Someone please.
So they fight to the men's bathroom. They don't go in the women's bathroom. They bypass that. They're nice gentlemen. Finley throws Vamp into a stall, and he slams the bathroom door on him. Vamp fights back and hits him with a toilet seat. Vamp then climbs a stall, which Tony said someone was shitting in earlier, so maybe he stepped on someone's knee to stand up there and jump off the stall. But when he jumps on Finley, Finley throws a trash can at him, which is a pretty cool visual. They make their way to the concourse again, and they fight amongst the fans, which security is doing as good a job as Vince Russo fucking writes shows of having the fans away. And then they make their way outside. Vamp tries to throw him off the balcony like it's Halloween Havoc 95, but Vamp fights him off. They go back inside, and they're literally fighting through fans. And it's like this freaky red fucking fiend color that somehow the concourse has changed into, so you can't really see what the fuck is going on. But Finley hits a back body drop on the floor. Finley hits a column by accident, and Vamp then throws him into the column. Vamp hits nail in the coffin and wins. Some fan also pinned Fit at the same time, so she pinned him too. So the winners are Vamp and this fan, as security can't keep these motherfuckers back. Vamp celebrates with the fans. Tim, this match was actually a lot more fun than I thought it'd be. And I think because the drunken WCW fans added so much to it.
Yeah, they kind of do. You have to admit, this is something that would not be allowed to happen today. But Wild Wild West here in WCW of 2000, it's uncensored. Kevin Sullivan is booking at this point, correct? We believe he is, or he's head of the booking committee, or whatever.
Ed Ferrara is also booking. It's like a booking committee, and Ed Ferrara is on it, and I think Terry Taylor is as well.
Fair enough. I wonder if Kevin Sullivan also maybe produced this match as the agent or whatever, because it seems like maybe he could have been feeling nostalgic for his Falls Count Anywhere match from Great American Bash 96. As you said, although they do not invade the women's restroom,
they try to.
They do kind of threaten to, and it does sort of have that feel. So I wonder if is this a callback? Is KS feeling a little nostalgic for lost times, lost opponents? But be that as it may, it is fun for what it is, and I don't know. I kind of like that finish with the nail in the coffin right on the arena floor like that. It's pretty sick, and Vamp, celebrating with the fans feels sort of fitting. These are two guys that you think of as Vampiro is not maybe the safest worker in the world, and Finley, while he is a professional, is known for laying it in pretty stiff. So you hook the two of them up, you do get a little something more than I think maybe many were anticipating, because they really do go at it. And they look like they're beating the shit out of each other. So it's maybe a lesser version of Benoit Sullivan from 96, but I like it all right for what it is. So
it's just so weird
another winner
that they
here.
put Finley in this. It is. It's just so weird that they put Finley in this, because last we saw him, he was like being Brian Knobs like Sergeant, and then because they're trying to push Vampiro. It's weird they put him here, but it says it's just the lack of talent depth. Logan, what'd you think, buddy?
Yeah, I thought it was. I was kind of surprised by how much I enjoyed it as well. It was really hard hitting throughout. Obviously, they battled to the outside and kind of throughout the arena. pretty standard TNA fare there for you. I feel like a lot of TNA matches go in the crowd and kind of battle around, but they go all the way to the back, and like Tim said, it was pretty brutal, nail in the coffin on the arena floor for the win. So I thought that was a pretty cool spot, but pretty standard fare for the night. I feel like anything that's gotten a little bit of time is pretty hard hitting. And that's always good to see. Finley's always going to beat the crap out of anybody and everybody he's in there with. So, but yeah, good to see Vamp continue to get elevated. But yeah, it seems like a random match. I don't even really think that they built almost all that much on TV. I think there were some segments between the two, but I think it was really just a way to get, Vamp featured and, on the card for sure. Cause I think they did want to elevate him in this regime before we had the changeover.
Yeah. So we got to do, I like Vampiro, which is shocking after having to watch him on Lucha Underground, even though I did like his match with Pentagon Dark. So we go backstage to Jeff Jarrett and the Hair Stoltz. Jeff just says, "Go get those boys." And then we got Mean Gene with our favorites, the Mama Lukes, and Disco says the Mama Lukes are going to beat respects into the Harris boys. This is a no DQ match. Johnny says they're going to break their thumbs. Love Johnny the Bull. I think I'm the only one. Match 7, and the NWO music hits. So we learn that the Harris Bros are in the NWO, which now must mean Nazi World Order. So then the Mama Lukes come out, and this is a tag title match in a no DQ match. Harris, and since I've never learned the Harrises, neither has Tony, I call them H1 and H2, or Harris 1 and Harris 2. Harris 1 and Vito start off, collar and elbow tie up, and Harris 1 kicks Vito, and then Vito hits 2 clotheslines and drops Harris 1 with a punch. Disco threatens to make Madden disappear as they're trash talking during the segment. Johnny the Bull and H1 are in. Johnny is dropped by a punch, and then Johnny power slams H1. This gets a 2 count. We get a tag to Vito, and they hit their kick and neck breaker combo that looks pretty sweet. This gets a 2. H1 gets a low blow and a tag to H2, and then they hit Vito with the elbow drop. Johnny the Bull jumps over the top rope and goes after H2. We get a tag to H1, and Vito hits a slam and then tags the Bull. They hit a double axe handle, and they start kicking H1, and then we do what they call the Brooklyn Bomb. Disco says he taught them that, which is basically the Harris Bros H-bomb, but this gets a 2. Johnny the Bull is distracted by H2 and is taken down by a clothesline. H2 is now a legal man. He throws Bull outside. H1 beats down Bull on the outside. H2 hits a sidewalk slam and is interrupted by Vito when he pinned Bull. Johnny hits a spin kick off the top rope, and H2 hits Vito. The Harris Bros double team Johnny while Vito's arguing with the ref, which makes no sense in a no DQ match. Disco then asked if Crowbar was dead, which I thought was funny. H2 beats down Bull. Disco says this is rope-a-dope. Madden says he has the dope part down, talking about Disco being a dope. Johnny and H2 hit each other with clotheslines. We get a hot tag to Vito. The crowd goes sadly mild for this. It takes down both Harris Bros. He's a house of fire. We got all 4 battling now. Vito hits H2 with a suplex, and Vito hits an elbow drop and gets 2. The Mama Luke's hit a held-up clothesline, but he gets 2. Vito gets thrown out of the ring, and Harris Bros hit a double pancake on Bull and gets 2. Harris Bros then hit the H-bomb, but Vito breaks up the pin. Vito goes for a sunset flip, but then Disco hits the Harris Pro with the belt, but only gets 2 off the belt shot. Vito fights off the double team as the Harris Pro hits everyone with the belt. Then they hit the H-bomb on Vito, and these fuckers win the tag titles. Logan, this is so upsetting. For somehow these assholes are 2-time tag champs, and we've had to see this both times. They disappear in 2 weeks, right?
What, the Mamalukes?
3 weeks? No, the Harris Bros.
The Nazi brothers.
Oh, the Nazi brothers. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think they're still around as of the changeover, so maybe they'll disappear after that. But yeah, I was highly upset that the Mamalukes lost. I knew it was probably coming at some point, but yeah, they've been one of our favorites. They have been very much holding this tag team division up when they have no one to fucking fight that's worth a shit. They've been fighting Crowbar and David Flair, which Crowbar's fine, but David Flair is the worst wrestler to ever grace a wrestling ring. And the Harris boys are, usually pretty terrible. That they can be carried, I would say. Early in the match, Inferno threatens to make some calls to make Mark Madden disappear. I thought that was a pretty good line by Inferno there, and I said yes, please to that. But yeah, again, hate to see the Mamalukes lose the belts. They've been really good champions, did well in this match, carrying the Harrises. And the Harrises weren't all that terrible themselves, but I just hate them, just overall, just in ring as humans, the whole deal. I will say they do have a pretty good finisher, the like double back suplex where they kind of catch them and fall back. I thought that was a pretty cool move, but yeah, I hate to see the Mamalukes lose because they're some of our favorites for sure.
Yeah. I also hate everything about the Nazi brothers. Even though, like, in ring, I guess they're okay. And this match, I think, could have been okay if not for such a depressing ending. Because it looks like the Mamalukes are going to pull it out, and I'm, similar to you guys, I've sort of been feeling these dudes. I really like what Vito will evolve into. I'm not quite as high on him as part of the tag team as I will be once he becomes more of a singles wrestler. And I even sort of dig, like, and look, this is a statement that I think has never been said, but I kind of have enjoyed Disco's character growth, such as it
Manager of Champions.
Yep.
Yeah, well, he kind of went from like unwitting flunky pressed into service by these guys, to then, like, he's their manager, but sort of a dope and incompetent. And now he's all in on them, right? He's pretty much part of the crew here, and he actually does give them quite an assist in this match. And it looks like after the Mamalukes survived that first H-bomb, Disco comes in with the belt shot, and I'm like, well, that should be it, right? Cool. And fucking Nazi brother kicks out. How are you going to kick out of a belt shot in 2000 WCW? Fuck that. And they come back and win. Like, this is not the finish. This was emotional terrorism is what this finish was. It was emotional terrorism.
It really was.
I won't stand for it.
Like,
just like the Nazi party.
Like, I know people like bitch about like kickouts now, but like, goddamn, like both these guys were kicking out of everything and like a belt shot. Like, I didn't realize you have Super Cena and we got fucking Nazi fucking Harris brothers who think they're Red Skull fucking kicking out of shit. So
why are we giving Nazis hope spots? I mean, this is ridiculous and false finishes.
Yeah. So then we go backstage, and then Fitz on an interview and says he beat Respect into Vampiro and says the better man won tonight. He says he lit a fire in Vampiro and he earned his respect. Then Mean Gene is with Team Package. He asks Lex about the Lumberjack cast match. Luger says he will beat Sting's brains in. Flair then hypes up Luger, says Sting is going down and Hogan will bleed and sweat all night long tonight. And then we see highlights of the Dustin and Funk feud, which I had no idea was fucking happening. Dustin turned on Funk after Super Brawl. Dustin says this will be Funk's final match. And actually something pretty cool. Dustin calls himself the American Nightmare, which his brother would pick up about 17 years later, which was real interesting to hear. So this leads us to match 8, which is Dustin Rhodes versus Terry Funk in a bull rope match, not an I Quit match, a bull rope match. Dustin's out first. Funk is out next with the whole ass chicken, which has interesting. But Terry Funk has a mic and says he sees a chicken in the ring, and the chicken he's holding has Dusty written all over it. And Funk says he has his baby brother here and says, "Come on down." Sadly, it's not Cody, but it's someone in a chicken costume.
Oh my god!
Dustin chases the chicken around, and then Funk punches Dustin with the chicken he was holding, not the actual person in the chicken suit. I just want to let you listeners at home or wherever you're at, this is when I had to take a break. And just after I wrote that note, I was like, I need a break. yeah, I was
When you
like,
have to
this is-
disambiguate which chicken you're talking about, it's definitely time for a breather.
yeah, yeah, it's something. But so Terry throws Dustin in the ring after he hit him with the chicken and knocks him down with punches, and he starts beating Dustin with the bull rope. So keep in mind they have a bull rope match and a fucking strap match tonight, guys. The Yappa Pie, which we'll get to later.
Oh yeah,
The
Terry-
Yapeppy.
Yeah,
Apple
the
pie.
Pappy, Yappa Pie. Yeah.
Apple pie.
Terry picks him up and starts punching him in the corner. Terry then DDTs Dustin and gets 2. Terry slams his head into the turnbuckle and hits Dustin with the clothesline, and he hits him with the cowbell and gets 2 after that. Dustin hits Terry in the nuts and then starts choking Terry by the neck. Starts choking Terry by wrapping the bull rope around his neck and throws him across the ring. Dustin's beating Terry with the cowbell. Dustin knocks Terry out of the ring, and he keeps choking him with the cowbell rope. Dustin beats down Terry more and gets 2. Then he hits a suplex and gets 2. Dustin bulldogs Terry on the cowbell, which is pretty gnarly, but that just got 2. The chicken suit person comes in the ring and pushes Dustin. Dustin then brains him with the cowbell. Dustin starts beating down the chicken for some reason as ignoring Terry. I thought we'd find out who the chicken was. Spoiler alert, we don't. Dustin goes back to beating down Terry. Dustin goes over the top rope, and Terry and like in a move that I've never seen Dustin climb over the top rope like he's fucking Kevin Nash, but he does. So Terry grabs his leg and smashes his nuts up and down the ropes. And then Terry hits him in the nuts again and asks for a mic. Says he's changing the rules and making it an I Quit match, where I guess he thinks he was still WCW commissioner like he was for a fucking week, Logan. And he hits the ref when the ref's like, you can't do this. Funk calls Dustin a son of a bitch and keeps hitting him with the cowbell and saying, say it, damn it. Dustin says he finally quits. The ref says, no, this is an I Quit match, which my notes turned into an annuity match. So there we go. Dustin clobbers Terry with the cowbell, and then Dustin then pile drives Terry on the cowbell, and it's over, mercifully over. Dustin wins. Dustin gets on the mic and says, yo bag of guts, get up. And Dustin just keeps beating down Terry after the match. Then Terry gets up, and they both keep fighting. And then Dustin just takes off after the ringside area. Since Terry has came back, I've seen this man just get his ass beat the whole fucking time. Like, they made him look somewhat confident when he was commissioner, but that Kevin Nash match was just ridiculous. And then he had a Texas death match with Flair where they had like the dumbest ending I've ever seen. And now this one, and it's just like, Jesus, tap dancing, fuck. Like, and like all these shots to the head with the cowbell, and there's no goddamn blood. You mean to tell me, I know wrestling's fake, but come the fuck on. Like, come on. But like, this was a decent brawl. But like, Terry is like, we see blood later. But then, like, Terry changed it to an I Quit match. It's just so fucking stupid. But, like, I guess this feud's going to continue. I don't know what we're doing. Logan, did you enjoy this match? Am I going crazy? Did they break me?
I mean, I always like watching Terry Funk get his ass beat. So that's always fun for me. I will say opening the match with a shot from a chicken carcass is certainly something I didn't see coming, and wasn't something on my bingo card. I'll also point out that after like the original Goldust run, Dustin Rhodes has some of the worst attire I think I have ever seen on a wrestler. This outfit that he has on is absolutely horrendous. The chaps with the giant buttons and the awful leather stuff that he has going on, it's terrible. What were you going to say, Tim?
Wasn't me, but I think Schiff had a
Schiff
had a note on that.
I said this last time, but he looks like he's trying to try out for the YMCA gang with that.
Yeah.
Ensemble that he's wearing.
Any of the stuff that he wears in this or his TNA run at the beginning of his first TNA run looks like he's trying to like do like a leather daddy gimmick or something like that. He looks fucking terrible. But yeah, Dustin beats the absolute shit out of Funk and the damn chicken in the chicken suit throughout the match. I love that. He beats the crap out of all of them. The pile driver on the cowbell was absolutely brutal. And yes, somehow Funk, after getting his ass kicked, somehow runs off Dustin after the match. But I do enjoy watching Funk get the shit beat out of himself. So I did enjoy it, but it is a little probably overkill for this old man to continue to come out here and just absolutely get obliterated by all of his opponents. But Tim, what do you think?
Overkill is a good way to put it. It's hard to know what to say about this match other than it feels like several minutes of just nonstop elder abuse. Because like
not wrong.
Poor Terry doesn't get very much in here, and he looks just so pitiful taking these moves. He genuinely looks like he's suffering out there in ways that are almost uncomfortable. I don't know if that's him just being able to sell really, really well, but there's got to be an element of truth to it with his doctor's diagnosis of Terry, you have no knees, being I think a couple years before this, and here he is still working not just any match, but a anything goes match basically is what this comes down to. I mean, on some level, it is entertaining, I guess. I mean, there's like a sick DDT, like you said, the pile driver is just so brutal. But god damn, I'm trying to think of what was next for Funk after this, and I don't know that he was terribly active or had a lot of matches in WCW after this one. Certainly heading into this next era of the company. But I do seem to recall, taking it back to our friend Chris Candido, don't they have like a Falls Count Anywhere match? I want to say it's on a Thunder at the Double Cross Ranch or some ranch. In my mind, I remember Chris Candido getting kicked by a horse and someone doing a moonsault off the back of a horse. But I'm told that might be the Mandela effect, that I am making that up. But he does at least have that match to come with Chris Candido. I know the match exists. And maybe not much else for the Funker. Yes.
I think he feuds with Eric Bischoff.
Terry Funk does? Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I think he gets pretty involved in the hardcore division as well. So
wow. Good for him, I guess. I know that
I don't know for how long.
Blair and Bischoff are going to have Hogan and Bischoff are going to have some issues, right? Coming up. But yeah. Wow, Terry Funk, huh?
There you go.
But all that is to say, I guess it's okay. But it's pretty much the story of every match on this show. I guess it's okay. It's sort of just degrees of not that good, but still not quite horrible either.
It's just meh. It's meh. So yeah. So we go backstage with Mean Gene, and he's with Sid. Gene says he's concerned about Jeff Jarrett tonight. Sid says he's not bothered by him, but he will watch his own back. And then we see a history of Sting and Lex Luger going back to the 80s. Nope, just going back to Starrcade. And how Luger has been breaking arms, but it's really wrists that he's breaking. So, okay. This leads us to match 9, which is Sting versus Lex Luger in a lumberjack match with Cass. The lumberjacks come out as Jimmy Hart, Kurt Hennig, had no idea he was still with the company, Logan, Doug Dillinger, Knobs and Finley, and Vampiro. Luger's out first, and Luger is worried about the lumberjacks around the ring. He won't turn his back to him. Sting's out next. Luger gets on the mic and says, visually, that's why I'm called the total package. Luger apologizes to the lumberjacks for breaking their arms or their wrists, whatever. Luger says he's the most intelligent wrestler and brings out his own lumberjacks of Hugh Morris, Harlem Heat 2000, and the Harris Stoltz. They all have their own cast too. So after this, Luger attacks Sting as soon as he's in the ring. Sting fights back and is beating Luger in the corner, and Luger rolls out to his own lumberjacks. They don't attack him. Luger goes back in the ring, and Sting is stomping Luger. Sting with an atomic drop to Luger, and then a clothesline. Sting punches down Luger. He's stomping him as well. Sting slams Luger, then hits a leaping elbow. Then he throws Luger to the good guy lumberjacks, and then all the lumberjacks run around to rescue Luger. Back in the ring, Sting is peppering Luger with punches. Luger begs off and then throws Sting on the outside to the bad guy lumberjacks. The lumberjacks attack Sting, then throw him back in, and Luger starts beating him down. Tank Abbott walks down for some reason. He looks like the creepy uncle with no shirt on as he's walking down with these fucking, just looks like big boxers he's wearing, but they're shorts. And he comes out and he just knocks out Doug again. Not gonna lie, it's pretty funny when he knocks out Doug. This is like the third time it's happened.
I lost it when he did that.
This is the third time it's happened to him, and it's fucking hilarious every time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So then Luger, me and Logan love it. It's the best. Like, Tank Abbott sucks, but him knocking out Doug Dillinger gives me life for some reason.
It kind of justifies his hiring. Yeah, his being on the show at all. If that's what his role is going to be, fine. Pay him whatever he needs.
It really does. It really does. Luger clothesline Sting, and then for some reason, all the lumberjacks just battle to the back, and Luger has Sting in a chin lock, and we see that Vampiro is ringside. He did not go in the back like a moron. Flair comes down with Liz. Sting fights out the chin lock, and then Vamp and Flair fight, and Flair is able to get the better of Vampiro right there. Then Flair gets in the ring. Sting fights him off, and but then Flair starts chopping Sting, and Sting hits the Stinger Splash on Flair, then a hip toss, then a drop kick. But this allows Luger to hit an axe handle on Sting. Sting fights that off and hits a Stinger Splash of his own. Liz hits Sting with the baseball bat again. Goes to hit Liz with the baseball bat, but Vampiro grabs Liz and takes the bat. And then Hart grabs her and he's threatening her with Hogan's weightlifting belt. Sorry, she did hit Sting. Was about to hit him again, but that's when he stopped. Luger pins Sting and gets 2. Luger signals for the torture rack. He gets him up. The Vampiro then runs in and hits Luger with the bat. Sting then hits the Scorpion Death Drop, and it's over. After the match, Sting and Vampiro hug. Tenay calls them the Brothers in Pink, which I think is their name until Vampiro turns on him. Whew. So much shit happened in this match. Like, nonsensical. Flair runs in, gets his ass beat, which makes him look great for the fucking main event. Right. It's like run-ins galore at this. Like, Vampiro's still getting the rub, which I like, but Flair didn't have to make him his young boy there temporarily. Should have been Vampiro takes him out and then just takes out Luger instead of like Liz looks like Jimmy Hart's about to rape her by holding her with the weight belt. So it's just like, I guess Liz thought it was bad when Savage was locking her in the rooms when he went and wrestled. This match was a little bit worse. Logan, what did you think, buddy?
Yeah, this feud needs to end. They have been feuding for nearly the damn length of this pod, I feel like. I mean, it's a total package match in 2000 at this point. I mean, he's so limited. And Sting's doesn't have his fastball either at this point either. So, this is a feud that desperately needs to end. It's been going on for forever. No shock that Flair gets involved throughout, because like I said earlier, Package and Flair just absolutely dominated the TV between Super Brawl and here. It's cool to see kind of maybe Vamp getting linked up with Sting to kind of maybe give Vamp that rub off of Sting being an established star. So there may have been something there with the kind of team up or mentor mentee kind of situation with those two. But yeah, Package and Sting need to go as far apart from each other as they possibly can at this point, because it's a feud, like I said, it may not have started at the beginning of the pod, but it's damn near been going the whole time that we've been doing this. So it needs to be over.
I agree, Logan. I agree.
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think of the Brothers in Paint? I heard you snicker.
So I guess this is the beginning, of the Brothers in Paint. One of the rare things from this little time period that will carry over into the next. what I have seen of the Brothers in Pain, I really hate. I know that they were kind of semi over, but I just thought it was so corny and stupid. I hated them as a team. Marginally preferred when they were feuding, but that'll come later. So that starts here. Logan, you mentioned Luger and Flair really dominating the television leading up to this, and I guess that doesn't surprise me because it feels like the company has really gone all in on this. I call them TTP, the total package, of course, Lex Luger.
Yeah,
we're not calling him by his proper name anymore, but he almost feels like the top heel in the company. The way he's had this gimmick where he's breaking guys' arms and has done it so many times that we can now have a dedicated lumberjacks with arm casts match, which is saying a lot, I feel like. But I am no huge fan of Jeff Jarrett, but in a landscape where your other two top heels are the total package and Ric Flair, I think I can kind of get behind Jeff Jarrett and would have preferred if they had. But for whatever reason, we're really going all in on this total package guy who breaks arms, even though he can't take a bump anymore, sort of character. But the match is, I feel like Sting and Luger have never had a good match and a good singles match, and this is really not the exception. Probably better than when's the last time they fought? Starrcade? I remember that.
Yeah, Starrcade match was nothing good.
Yeah.
I mean, at least this has a somewhat cathartic ending. Pretty cool finish, actually, with Sting in the torture rack and slipping out of it, sliding right into the Scorpion Death Drop. That was pretty smooth for again a guy whose best years are behind him. Sting can still work with the right opponent, even as late as 2000. Total package is not that, but this is one of our, I guess, 3 main events of the evening, really. So we'll take it for what it is. At least we can put this feud behind us, right, guys? Right? Please tell me.
I think so, because I think Luger feuds with Sean Stasiak coming up.
That's
and
right.
Sting with Vampiro, of course.
With the Lex Flexor.
Which, yeah, with the whatever the fuck that is. So I guess I'll have to learn. So we go backstage with Mean Gene and Tank Abbott. He asked why he knocked out Doug Dillinger, and Tank said he did it because he was a lumberjack and he wanted to get fined for it, which fucking popped me.
That's amazing logic. What an intelligent.
He's like, I can't get fined. He was like, I can't get fined for it. I should have talked to him. I had a chance to talk to him at WrestleCon in Philly. I mean, in Vegas. I should have talked to him. Just to be like, dude, what? Yeah. Total drop the ball part on me. So we see highlights of Sid and Jeff Jarrett. I said, of course, Sid doesn't fucking main event as world champion. Sid had a promo during this where he said Jeff cannot be the master of the master, which it's amazing Sid knew how to fucking read with some of these lines that he says.
Wow.
Yeah. So we see the limo opening up, but then it cuts to Jeff Jarrett with the hose, the NWO hose, which one of them was Tylene Buck. Was another one Medeja? It looked like Medeja. So
I think it was Medeja before she's Medeja. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sid is told his match is next by Mike Graham, that the order has been changed. It's match 10, Jeff Jarrett versus Sid for the World Heavyweight title. Buffer is out for the intros. Jeff's out first, and he gets on the mic and says, finally the time has come. The chosen one to realize his destiny. Not going to lie, chosen one's a really good nickname. Jeff said he's made Sid's life a living hell for 2 months, and he's done that. And he's done it knocking out any WCW roadblock that gets in his way. He says he will come down. He will leave the aisle as WCW champ. So WCW's trying to screw the chosen one. Jeff says he has something up his sleeve and says after he wins, the girls will show off their tits, which makes the crowd cheer for him. I'm like, yeah, like that would make me cheer for him too. I was like, all right, let's go. Like, all right.
Yay,
yeah,
boobies.
Yeah, pretty much, Logan. Yeah. Sid's out next.
Jeff Jarrett face
Jeff-
turn right
Jeff
here.
goes-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, are they trying to turn him face? What the fuck's going on? But Jeff goes to clothesline Sid, but Sid ducks him, which is pretty impressive with the man of that stature, and punches him, hits a clothesline of his own. Sid then Irish whips Jeff in the corner, but then Jeff tries to like do the thing where he jumps behind him, but Sid stops running. Sid pushes in the corner and gets Sid punches in the corner. He then grabs Jeff for a chokeslam, but Jeff rakes his eyes. Sid clotheslines Jeff over the top rope and slams him on the announce table. Sid then actually jumps off the announce table and hits an axe handle. Doesn't break his leg when he jumps off the announce table this time. And then to give Logan Vietnam-like flashbacks, Sid and Jeff Jarrett start battling through the crowds. I'm sure this reminded him of TNA Never Die. I mean, Highway to the Impact Zone.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure Logan probably went catatonic when this happened. They battle to the aisleway. Sid throws Jeff into the guardrail. Sid actually screams, "Die, Jeff, die," while he's like choking him on the guardrail. Don't know if you guys caught that. And then like Sid starts walking towards the ring as like ref is distracted by Jeff. This allows the Harris brothers to attack Sid and they throw him in the ring. They beat him down. Jeff has a chair, but Nick Patrick takes it away from him. I'm glad he could do that, but not count fast at Starrcade 97, that motherfucker. But Jeff starts stomping Sid and then takes him down with punches. Jeff picks up Sid and puts him in a sleeper hold. He gets Sid down to his knees, and then Sid, of course, raises his arm on the third drop. Sid fights out of the sleeper hold, but Jeff eye rakes him again and then hits a double axe handle. But Sid punches Jeff. It was real botched looking. Sid punches Jeff and then hits a big boot. Sid goes for a leg drop, but one of the Harris brothers distracts him. While the ref and the Harris brother are arguing, Jeff has the other Harris brother grab the world title and tries to throw Sid into it, but he gets hit by accident, and this only gets 2. Sid goes for a chokeslam, but Jeff kicks him in the nuts. Jeff hits the ref with the back elbow, and then he throws Nick Patrick in the corner and beats him down. Jeff then hits Sid with the guitar and is calling for his ref. Slick Johnson comes out, but Hogan is fast on his cue, so you see Hogan stalking him like he's fucking Jason Voorhees and fucking Friday the 13th. Slick Johnson is, and you could tell that something's going to happen. Slick's like counting from like 6 feet away, and Hogan just pulls him out and takes him down. Hulk punches Jeff and then hits the big boot. Hogan hits the Harris brothers with the big boots and then hits the leg drop on Jeff. He puts Sid on Jeff, and that's legit how Sid wins. So way to cuck your world champion, guys. And then Scott Steiner comes down and hits Hogan with the guitar. I guess he was the insurance policy, real bad insurance policy, and Scott Steiner just runs off after this. Sid wakes up and takes out the Harris brothers. And I'm going to stop it right here. Kind of a fun match till Hogan gets involved, which could be the line of anything WCW, really. Way to cuck your world champ. Like, he can't even beat Jeff Jarrett fair and square. Like, he couldn't beat him last month. And then, like, this seemed like a feud ender because it seemed like Hogan's going to stick his nose into it. And I think that was the plan because I think they don't they turn Sid heel, Logan?
Correct. Mm-hmm. It's like the next night on Nitro. I think it's the next night on Nitro, yeah.
Yeah, they turned Sid heel to feud with Hogan, and that was going to be the Spring Stampede main event. So, like, Hogan must win.
No recollection of that whatsoever. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's only for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think it's only 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it's that week, and then the next week is like the spring breakout, where they do like the outside show on the beach and all that. So, and then they do like a highlight show, and then it's the reset. So,
where they talk about how bad Nitro's been.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they show greatest hits of Thunder and Nitro on the respective shows. So, but yeah, I can't remember who they tag with, but it's Hogan and Sid versus, I guess it's probably Jarrett and somebody. But I think Sid and Hogan win the match, but after the match, Sid turns on him and beats him up. So, but yeah, it's not, I don't think they've necessarily booked Sid super awesomely throughout our entire run here. I mean, I think he does have dominant spots, and we have enjoyed him, but he definitely hasn't been the most dominant, like, main event guy, champion, whatever he's been at given times. I feel like he has taken a lot of pins, and he doesn't look all that dominant in a situation like this where he maybe should kill Jarrett fairly easily. But yeah, you pointed it out, but this is a Jarrett like TNA specialty match where they almost immediately battle around the outside. I mean, they fight inside for a second and then they hop out and battle around the crowd, around the outside throughout the kind of arena. But Sid dominates for the most part. The Harrises obviously get involved, and again, like, why are they not involved the entire time? Just make it a handicap match and beat up on Sid. Let Sid kind of overcome it or something. But Jarrett hasn't won when old Greasy P, aka Slick Johnson, comes out and makes the quick count. But obviously, Super Hogan comes out, helps Sid out. But yeah, Steiner looked kind of foolish because he comes out a little too late. I realize it's just to kind of weaken up Hogan maybe for the main event, but Steiner kind of looks like an idiot where he comes out and after the pinfalls kind of happened and takes out Hogan. But cool to see Sid clean house after the match. But yeah, not making Sid look super dominant in a spot where I feel like he probably should be. But he was probably about to be fed to Hogan, so yeah, not all that shocking.
Yeah, this finish is awful. The match itself it works for what it is. I think, and I sort of maybe said this to you guys earlier, that I thought Jeff Jarrett had some credibility problems going in there as the challenger, the heel challenger to a Sid Vicious. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the concept that Sid would have a hard time with this guy. But the match is kind of booked the way it needs to be in order to like overcome that that issue that I had with it, where it's like a lot of interference, a lot of foreign objects, weapon shots. You even get the crooked referee at the end, the insurance policy, such as it is. But like, Sid can't even get his fucking move right on Jarrett. He has to literally be draped over top of Jeff Jarrett to get to the 1, 2, 3 by Hulk Hogan. I would agree that Scott Steiner looks quite foolish for this to be his return after so long. And to
after being suspended.
After being suspended,
that's when he was making fun of Flair's teeth.
He called Ric Flair an old bastard and cut a shoot promo on him completely unprovoked. And got suspended for
Roid Rage.
Roid Rage, perhaps, yes. But he looks like a dope the way he comes out, again, way too late. He's supposed to be the insurance policy, so if he's going to be effective in that role, you think he would, if anything, help Jarrett win. But it's a bit hard to believe here that for all Jarrett's talk of being the chosen one that we've just been hearing nonstop since this, character debuted really in WCW back in the fall, Jeff Jarrett has yet to win the WCW World Championship. I mean, say what you will about Sid's wins. He's not been going over it super strong, but since he won the title, he's held it for a minute here. And I think when you look at...
Which is impressive with 2000 WCW.
I was about to say, when you look at the year 2000 WCW and the World Championship in particular, Sid has probably, if not the longest, probably the second longest reign. I'm thinking of when Steiner finally gets it, it stabilizes a bit. But that's a ways to come. And boy, are we going to go through some bullshit to get there. So, yeah, I wasn't real thrilled with how all this went down. I mean, at least he choke slams a Nazi brother at the end. I'm just kind of a Sid mark, guys. I'm gonna say it. I'm one of those people who he thinks he's always cool and he's always over, even when he looks so stupid in the backstage in the locker room with fucking Mike Graham's ass has to come out and say, "Oh, they changed the format on us, brother. Oh shit, I gotta go." Like, he looks so dumb, but I don't know. I always like Sid. and I want good things for him. And this is also like the most professional run I feel like of his career since he returned back in, gosh, what was it? Probably spring, early summer of '99 with Randy Savage. He's been in there. Like, he hasn't taken any time off for fucking softball or anything. Like, he's stayed healthy. He's kept his appearances. He, as far as I know, hasn't missed any dates. Like, this is a good solid run.
He missed the last Thunder before Super Brawl because he claimed he had a concussion from a guitar shot. But then when he did it again, there was no problem. So he was doing
give him that.
Some Sid stuff.
It's just Thunder. Let's give him that one.
Yeah. So
I don't think
so. This leads. You went to one, but
I did.
So with Hogan being in the ring, Flair then comes down and the main event starts. So sadly, that's the last we'll see of Michael Buffer tonight. Flair whips Hogan with the strap. Jimmy Hart comes out as well. Hogan is somehow able to get up and they start fighting outside the ring. They trade punches and chops. Hogan then throws Flair in the ring and starts choking him, then whipping Flair with the strap. He clotheslines Flair in the corner, and then Flair does the Flair flop. Flair then stops Hogan's offense and then kicks him in the ribs twice. Flair then chokes Hogan with the strap. Hogan starts whipping Flair with the weight belt that Jimmy Hart has handed him. There's a strap and a weight belt here. I don't know why either. Flair then chops Hogan in the corner, and Hogan hooks up and clotheslines Flair. He then chokes him with the belt. Flair tries to leave on the outside, but Hogan grabs the strap and just yanks on it, so he falls down. Hogan then throws Flair back in the ring. Hogan does the 10 punches in the corner. He does this twice for some reason. Flair tries to leave on the outside yet again, but Hogan pulls him back in. I thought my fucking peacock messed up because I was like, what the hell is going on here? Flair's now bleeding. Hogan punches him down. Hogan then does the 10 punches when Flair's on his back and they count. So Jesus Christ, these guys just need to hang it up. Flair begs off. Hogan stays beating him. This is where Tony says they've had this feud since '94. Okay. Flair goes up top and Hogan then throws him off the turnbuckle. Madden goes, Flair hasn't hit anything from the top turnbuckle since Starrcade, the first Starrcade, which was a reused line, but I'll allow it. He said it last month, Logan. I sadly remember that. Flair goes outside and Hogan follows him. Jimmy Hartland gets in on whipping Flair too. Now they're fighting in the aisleway. Flair begs off all the way up to the entranceway, but Luger comes in and hits Hogan with a steel chair. Hogan is down and Flair starts beating on him. Luger just disappears after this. I guess he had to take a shit. Hogan's now bloody too, and then they are battling around the ring. Flair then just hits Hogan in the nuts, and they get back in the ring, and Flair's punching Hogan. Jimmy Hart interferes, but Flair takes him out. Flair starts slapping corners because this is a strap match. He gets to 3, and he can't pull Hogan, so he stops. Flair pulls out brass knucks and hits Hogan. Then he puts him back in his knee pad. Then he pins him and gets 2. Even Tony is like, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he pinning him? Keep listening in mind for what's about to happen. Hogan then hulks up. He does the Hulk bullshit. Hits a big boot. Then he hits 3 turnbuckles. But then Luger finally got done wiping his ass, and he runs down, and Hogan hits him with a big boot. And then he leg drops Flair. And then he pins Flair. The bell rings when Hogan touches the 4th fucking corner. So Hogan somehow won twice. Fuck him. I hope he's in hell.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
This cocksucker.
How can you say that about your childhood hero? He's your childhood hero.
Very. First off, fuck him. No, he wasn't. I was a WCW wrestling fan growing up.
Wow.
Just shit like this is yeah. He fucking, as much as he did for wrestling, you can see how he holds motherfuckers down. And this was around the time he was going on Mancow and that Cuck guy's fucking show, Bubba the Love Sponge, and was saying how all the wrestlers, Hogan fucked his wife. That's a fact, Jack. I ain't pimping out my wife to anyone, especially not fucking Hulk Hogan. So there you go.
Said Billy Kidman couldn't draw at a flea market. something like
Yeah,
that.
said Billy couldn't wait to shit on one of your rising stars, one of your guys that did not jump to WWF, that had to be talked into staying. Shit on saying no one under 40 could draw because y'all held them down. So there you go. So, and like one of the things in the Observer around this time is like WCW has realized that they can't do anything about Hogan until his contract expires in 2 years, and they're dead within 11 months. No, a year. They're dead within a year.
Yeah,
so like,
year,
there
yeah.
you go.
At this point, yep.
Yeah. So I got it confused with ECW. So it's just bullshit. Like you see lists like Hogan's got a main event. There's no reason for him to main event. Have the world title go on. But you know, he's probably going to take the world title next month. He's probably going to take it at Bash at the Beach with the famous, which we'll get to in 2032. But it's like seeing like this is so frustrating. And then reading this shit, and then it's like, yeah, this man, like he broke unions. Fuck him. So like, this is just bullshit. This is masturbatory at its fucking finest right here. Like he wins twice over Flair. Got to put him down, brother. And he takes out Luger, who had toilet paper on his boot. He really didn't. But there you go. Logan, you take over before I fucking say something I really regret.
Yeah, I was going to say, you were talking about him doing like radio shows and stuff like that. He does an interview with Tenay before they do the changeover. I can't remember if it was on the Nitro or the Thunder, but he asked him some kind of question about the future and like the upcoming stars. And he doesn't like out and out bury him, maybe like he does on those radio interviews, but he really puts himself over in kind of a masturbatory way. So that doesn't just happen like in the real world. It actually happens on their television where he kind of buries the younger talent. So he ain't shy about it at all. I love that Hulk, not, and this is sarcasm, I love that he hulks up like seconds into the match because he's already down from the guitar shot. Right. Like that's something that has to happen like 20 seconds into the match. Flair does pretty methodically work on the injured midsection from the guitar shot, and really tees off with the strap and chokes Hogan a lot. So he's pretty methodical in his offense, which was a nice part of the match. I made the note that it feels like Hogan said, "This brown strap doesn't work for me, brother." So he starts using his weight belt instead.
Sir,
take that as you will. I said it would have been a fun callback from 5 years earlier if they brought Vader in for this, and and Hogan ends up beating Vader like he beats Flair when he's facing Vader. It's Uncensored 95. So I think that would have been an interesting idea to kind of bring Vader back in at this point to kind of do the opposite of that. I did like seeing Jimmy Hart get his ass kicked a little bit by Luger and Flair. I thought that was a really gross chair shot that Luger hits at that point when he uses the chair. And then, Flair using the foreign object and then immediately going for the pin and a touch to corners match. Maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, because that would have won him any other match, but he's too stupid to understand that the rules are that you need to touch the corner. So, but like Schiff said, Hogan then pins him and touches all four corners. So the ref and the commentary teams don't even know what the fuck's going on, which is very apropos of WCW in general, but also very much of this era. But yeah, just these two guys shouldn't be main eventing a pay-per-view in 2000. They're old, they're broken down. I mean, I can't say nobody cares about them, because Hogan does get pretty good cheers and pretty big pops at this point, but do something else. I mean, I'm not saying Sid and Jarrett had the greatest barn burner match or anything like that, but at least feature guys that are on the come up. But yeah, just something that didn't need to happen, and overbooked, and just a mess. But Tim, what did you think of the old apple pie strap match?
The old apple pie strap match. I'm glad you brought up that Vader match, because
I had to.
Well, listen, these two have quite the storied history at Uncensored as a pay-per-view. That, of course.
Oh my God, he did, motherfucker.
I mean,
I remember that now.
Yeah, so the 95 match, Hogan and Vader, the inaugural Uncensored, Ric Flair is not even in the match, and yet he does the job on Vader's behalf. Is that also the show where he runs in and drag?
Yes.
He looks like B. Arthur. And
yes,
then,
absolutely.
Yeah, they're like they think this this old woman from the crowd is attacking Hulk Hogan, who again looks like B. Arthur, but because Flair was retired at the time, working the retirement angle from when Hogan beat him at Halloween Havoc. Again, this is a feud dating back to 1994, as Tony Schiavone reminds us. But at 1996, of course, Uncensored, that main event, Flair is part of the Alliance to End Hulkamania. Also, I think does the job at that show because his now partner, the Total Package, hits him in the face with the coal miner's glove or whatever in a really botched spot because somebody was out of position. And it's like Luger, he hesitates because he realizes that's his man, but this is the finish, so he has to hit him anyway. And so I think Savage pins Flair for that finish. We have no Uncensored in 97, 98. Flair has been fired or suspended or whatever. But in 99, we get another, a proper Hogan Flair main event. First Blood, if you'll recall.
In a cage.
In a cage. And I got to tell you guys, that was the match where I was officially done with Hulk fucking Hogan, because that's where they do the double turn. That's where both guys get color early, even though it's a First Blood match, and nothing fucking happens, and it ends in a pinfall, which Hogan wins. They do a double turn. Yeah, that's where they do the double turn. The nonsensical, now Hollywood Hogan, who started the year off as the heel to end all heels, finger poke of doom. He's now your biggest baby face in the company, and kind of been that way ever since, and this is a lot of the reason why when Hogan went back to the WWF in 2002 and we got the stupid bullshit fucking Hulk Hogan nostalgia tour that everybody was creaming their pants over at the time, I was like, wait a minute, I saw this bullshit 2-3 years ago in WCW and it sucked then. So why is it good now? Fuck all you people. And fuck Hulk Hogan. So, yeah, that really sucked, and it really sucks here. And this match sucks. And I think the reason they do it is because apparently Hogan and Flair just like working with each other. For all that storied history, they seem to like working with one another. And as Flair would put it, he didn't have a problem doing jobs to Hogan. He'd say, I go out there every night. It was like nothing working with Hulk Hogan. You didn't feel a thing, light as a feather. and that's Ric Flair's take on it. But this is what we get. This is what we're kind of reduced to. And I can't believe this is the direction that they were, I guess, committing to, if not for what's going to happen in a couple of weeks. Because, God, I'm trying to imagine a hypothetical Spring Stampede card that was sort of in the same vein of these past two shows, Super Brawl and Uncensored. And I can't imagine it would be much of an improvement, Maybe DDP's back by then. I guess you've got Steiner, but are they going to really be involved in better matches? I can't see it with the way things were going.
I'm trying to see if I can find the card, what the original card was going to be.
Oh, did we get that far where matches were booked and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean the reset episode is the go home to Spring Stampede. So
yeah, they have to throw together the whole thing with the tournaments and everything else. So you said probably Hogan, Sid in a main event, which sounds dreadful.
I got to think it was Vamp and Sting versus Package and Flair.
Yeah, so now we've established the Brothers in Paint. That would make sense. So what's Steiner?
Hold on, I'm looking.
All right.
Maybe him and Sid? No, because Sid's in the main event. He hasn't lost the title yet.
Yeah, Sid's going to be in the main
event. I love how we already
know
he's going to lose the title.
Right. And what about Jarrett.
Jarrett's still U.S. champion.
I think he was going to face Kidman.
Yeah, he could.
Really?
For the U.S. title.
He could defend the U.S. title against somebody.
Or I could see maybe Jarrett and Steiner having a falling out because he didn't work out as the insurance policy. Maybe could they do like a face Steiner? I could sort of see that.
I mean, he would have gotten cheered.
That would be too early, maybe.
Yeah, I was it might not have like holistically worked, but he definitely got cheers because I mean they
do
people when he
DDP. They do DDP Jarrett anyway, so maybe if DDP was on the way back, that's the match you're going to get regardless.
He comes back on the spring break episode, I know.
Which is an interesting show. I've seen that's the one from like South Padre Island or whatever.
I think so. I think that's
it's not at Club La Villa.
No, it's outside, and DDP comes back and cuts a promo about Ready to Rumble because I think it comes out about around that time, and he's been doing a lot of press with that and stuff. And I think he was nursing some injuries and stuff too. But you definitely could have done him and Jarrett, or maybe him and Steiner or something like that.
I think that's why he was gone. I think he had to do reshoots for Ready to Rumble in post or something. In press, like you said.
Yeah. But
so it looks like it was going to be Candido versus Artis, and that's when they were going to have Tammy Sitch debut.
Fair enough.
And also here's a couple more comments that Hogan made on March 21st promoting Thunder that night. He hyped his angle with Sid. He ran down a lot of WCW, saying WCW that Bret Hart was in Canada and couldn't remember what WCW was. That's fucked up. That DDP was out with a broken. That DDP was out with a broken fingernail, and WCW needs guys that will crawl through broken glass with one arm in a sling to sacrifice and get in the ring. He actually praised Vampiro. Hogan praised Vampiro and then said that Kidman should train like Tori. And I guess there were some comments about that's a burial. When asked about Perry Saturn's comments, he said those guys were just making excuses for their failures and they should have moved him out of the way. Bill Banks from WCW Live said that not only does Hogan have creative control, but he still has guaranteed 6 pay-per-view main events for each of the next 2 years. When asked about Hogan's deal, we told 6 main events in total remaining, but that's not to say which story is true. Hogan's been telling people he has 4 pay-per-views left on his contract. It's just absurd.
So that's a problem either way. 4 or 6, you're still stuck with this guy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be there, as he's making clear.
Yeah, so great job. So I'm trying to...
Wow.
Yeah, but Logan, anything you'd like to add?
Man, I'm just interested to see what this reset kind of has for us. But this show overall, it had some good stuff, had some bright spots, but I just feel like once you kind of get to the latter parts of the card, you get kind of Sting and Luger, like I said, when we talked about that's been going on forever. Sid and Jarrett was fine of a match, but it kind of gets muddled down at the end. And then the whole mess that is the main event, kind of just anything that was good about the beginning of the show kind of gets erased by, kind of how bad the last like hour or 45-ish minutes are. But there were some good performances, maybe individually by guys or tag teams or something like that. But a lot of slop and a lot of just maybe matches that shouldn't have been on pay-per-view, guys that shouldn't have been on pay-per-view. And just, like I said, the lack of depth in the early part of the card kind of shows really bad on this one. Kind of like Tim said, you don't have any of the radicals. Mysterio's hurt, Steiner's hurt. A lot of people are out at this point. So hopefully the reset kind of, brings some of those injured people back into the fold, maybe bring some new power plant guys that can kind of shine on TV or something like that. Or I don't know, maybe this will just be a good little jump off point for us, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much faith in Russo's booking, but maybe a few new stars will pop out that we kind of can glom onto.
Yeah, that's what
Felt
we've seen,
like-
and I was able to find the tentative plans for the March 27th,
Please.
2000 Observer, and this were the tentative plans for Spring Stampede. Hulk Hogan versus Sid Vicious is the main event. DDP versus Dustin Rhodes. We were right. Y'all were right. Sting and Vampiro versus Flair and Lex Luger. Bagwell versus Jarrett, and Wall versus Crowbar in a tables match. And it says, believe it or not, at one point the main event was scheduled to be Hogan versus Rhodes, which they put in parentheses, which was moved to Thunder, with a Sting versus Vicious match that Vicious would probably have had to go over since they're building to a short-term Goldberg versus Vicious feud. So we enjoyed that Goldberg and Vicious feud, what we saw of it, Logan. But that would have been very interesting. But yeah, I mean, obviously that's all thrown out literally a week later. So yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Wow. Well, this is the type of show that's very indicative of, I think, a real go-to move by WCW, which was, I don't know why they did this, but in case of emergency, give the book to Kevin Sullivan. I think part of that was, I mean, he does have a good mind for the business. He's good at the smoke and mirrors. He's good at fooling you into thinking there's something more here than there really is. And if nothing else, I feel like, between Super Brawl and this show here, Uncensored, he provides a structure to the pay-per-view where, everything, it has an intro, it has video package, an opening video package, it has backstage vignettes, it has guest commentators, it has matches, it has a main event, like it has all the components that you need. Yes, right. It has all the components that you need to make a wrestling show work, but there's no substance. Like, yes, there are matches. It's like, but who cares? Who cares about any of these matches? Like, are they even good? You hear the criticism sometimes when it comes to a pay-per-view match, like, well, this just felt like a TV show match. A lot of the shit on this show feels like house tier show matches, and that they threw out on pay-per-view. And you know what it is? You know what the tell is? It's a very subtle thing, but it's something I noticed that lets you know that there is something deeply wrong here behind the scenes. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's that I don't think there's any chyron at any point. There's no on-screen graphic that says what the name of the show is. There's nothing to introduce anyone. There's no, like, how did this get overlooked? Like, is this just could they not afford this in the production of the show? Did no one care? Did they just forget? Did they run out of time? And it's something that you don't notice until you notice, because it's like, it's the absence of something, right? But all throughout the show, I'm going, hey, I don't think there's been any graphics. I don't think there's been any on-screen chyron, nothing. And it's like, it's just very telling of how badly things are falling apart for this promotion. WCW just feels dead on its feet right here. And I feel no different watching it here in 2025 than I did whatever the first time I watched this was, after the company was, in fact, dead. So, yikes. It's hard to say where we go from here.
Yeah, only up for a little bit. I feel like the first chapter is pretty good when they do the Millionaires Club versus New Blood. But that'll be our next episode in 2 weeks. Before we get out of here, I just want to thank Tim for joining us. It was a lot of fun, Tim, per usual. Would you like to plug anything before we get out of here?
The only other regular podcast gigs that I have are 9021 No So. That is a Beverly Hills 90210 retrospective that we go through episode by episode, we being myself and JT Rosero. So you can look for that. It's its own podcast feed, 9021 No So, and check that out if you're a fan of that great 90s primetime drama. I also have on the North-South Connection proper, it is brought to you by the Jenny Position on select Wednesdays. No set regular schedule there, but it is exposition with myself and Jennifer Smith, usually with Keithy Langston as well. That's another television series that ended some 30 years ago, that being X-Men the Animated Series, which I'm a great fan of. And we're going through that. Great show as well. Jenny and I, we are about halfway through season 2 at this point of X-Men the Animated Series. So check that out. Again, if you are a fan, on the North-South connection. And I think that'll do it for me.
All right, sounds good. Thank you all, and see you in 2 weeks. War of the Reboot!
It's on.
I wanna wake up where you